1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ba, ba, da, da, ba, da, da. There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to be, your infinite love will prove more than enough. There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why should I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do, your infinite love will prove more than enough. Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do, your infinite love will prove more than enough, more than enough, more than enough.
Beautiful. Isn't that true? The infinite love is more than enough. Good thing to remember today. I'd like to welcome you all. My name is Stephanie Michelotti, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you here today. And for those of you who are in the sanctuary, and for those of you who are watching us on live stream, we affirm that we are all one in spirit. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Special thanks go out to our musicians because they are the bomb, bibbity bomb. There's just no other way. Thank you,
Well, I've
Sandra,
been called
Chris,
worse.
Bobby, you guys just like, wow. Thank you. And of course, none of you who are with live stream with us today would be able to experience some of that beautiful music if we didn't have our phenomenal media team. And so Byron and Wayne, we want to thank you, of course, for your extremely wonderful contribution. Thank you so much for what you do for us. And then I would like to invite you to join me in prayer. Sweet Spirit, we open our hearts to receive you. We greet this day centered in God and in the knowledge that we are all one in the Spirit of the Christ. It is from this consciousness that we each become an individual expression of the love of God. We envision sending this love out to our world, seeing love extending out to our Unity community, to the city of Spokane, and out across the globe. We honor all those who worship on this day, no matter what religion, for we know that there are many paths to God, but there is only one God. In the warm and loving spirit of unity, we say thank you, God, and amen. And now we're going to talk about some announcements because we've got some stuff happening today. And today we are having potluck. It is also our yearly unity meeting where if you're a member, I invite you to hang out with us after we have food and find out what's going on with the board and what's going on for the year. You will be able to vote for board members if you are a member of Unity. And if you're not, come find out what it's about anyway. And if you are not interested in that, just stay and have some food and enjoy yourselves. Because it's gonna be fun. And then also, you are invited on the 6th of May. We are doing a post Cinco de Mayo, and that is to welcome Reverend, Evin and Mindy to our community, even though we are absolutely thrilled and we welcome you every day that you're here. And we appreciate you more than you know, but this is like the big party, okay? And it's gonna be from 6 to 9 on that day, and it is here. That's here. That address is here. I tell you, I am sorry because sometimes I don't know my own address or my phone number, or occasionally I forget my name, so just my brother. Anyway, it is a Mexican-themed potluck. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be music. Michael Robinson will be here. And there's also going to be an open mic, so come and show off a little bit, because that'll be cool. And kids are welcome. Oh, and costumes are optional. I don't know if that's for kids, but maybe I won't rock a tutu, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, there we go. We'll do flamingo dancing. Maybe we'll have somebody here to teach us a little dancing too, so that'll be fun. Anyway, absolutely do come and enjoy yourselves. And then we will prepare now for spiritual reading and then meditation.
So I invite you now to just prepare to just become centered as we open with our spiritual reading and just be able to move into our time of meditation together today. So our spiritual reading is from Everyday Osho, 365 Daily Meditations for the Here and Now. Once you have started seeing the beauty of life, ugliness starts disappearing. If you start looking at life with joy, sadness starts disappearing. You cannot have heaven and hell together. You can only have one. It is your choice.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe, and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery.
So today's meditation is going to center around what happens to be our daily word of gather. And I thought it was very fitting since today is a day we gather together for our annual meeting. So I invite you to now just gently close your eyes or find a spot to gaze on the floor. Just allowing the seat to just allow your body to just meld and mesh into the seat where you sit or the floor where you're laying down, maybe if you're at home laying down. And this is a time where we connect to the breath. We connect to that life force, the breath. Just allowing it to just gently flow naturally, not forcing it. Just allowing it to just come and to go. And I invite you as we move into this meditation to allow yourself to feel the energies of the people sitting around you. Or if you're watching at home online, to just feel the energy of the people that are here in this sanctuary as we also feel your energy as well. Just feeling the presence of the people that are gathered here in this space with us together today. Because we know when we acknowledge today that when we gather with others in the spirit of love and peace, our awareness of God's presence becomes more powerful, more palpable. And when we gather together, we create an energy. We create a vibration of energy that is greater than any one of us is alone. we become comfortable and at ease when we notice our differing appearances, our different preferences, our different backgrounds, our different opinions. Because together we are reminded of the limitless diversity of divine expression and our place within it. And when we join together in fellowship with our family and friends and all the others who are dear to us, each of us becomes a mirror for each other. And we see in one another the divine presence that lives and expresses as every single person on this planet. And as those who have also gone before us and those who will come after. This unifying energy of divine love that unites and binds us all together as one. Because in this love, we are one. And we're going to go into a moment of silence in just a moment. And as we do that, just allow yourself to continue to just feel the energies of each being online and that's in this room at this moment. Just feel the love that is swirling in this room as we gather together, celebrating the oneness that we are as we move into our moment of silence. And as we begin to bring our awareness back to this moment, we gather and magnify the presence of the God presence that's in each and every one of us. That divine presence that links each one of us together. That divine presence that at its core is oneness. That divine presence that each being here today, each being on this planet, is a part of. And we just allow it to be. And we open ourselves to receive this knowledge. And today we affirm that it is so. And so it is. And so we allow it to be. Namaste.
a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand.
But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've gotta let it go, let it all go, and this is what you have to say.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And again, what a wow. And thank you for that reminder that there is stuff that we just got to let go, because there is so much that just doesn't matter, as I'm learning this morning. Great lessons. Within Unity, we have a lot of individuals, we have a lot of paths, we have a lot of diversity. And in the world, we're having a lot of diversity right now, but there are some things that bring us together. There are some things in which we are unified. And so at this time, I'd like us to go through the Unity Peace Statement, which bonds us together. So let us behold the vision of a peaceful end to the violence in Ukraine and in all nations presently at war. I invite you to share in Unity's statement for peace together. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God, for there is only one power and presence of God. God loves each one of us equally. Unity stands for peace in our lifetime. It is therefore the position of Unity to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever name for guidance during these challenging times and to pursue peace, not war. For this is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. In a moment here, I'm going to invite you to stand so that we recognize the Christ and the divine in each other. And then following that, Evin is going to gift us with his presentation message titled To Be or Not to Be. And if you're going on with that with Shakespeare, you just go on with your bad selves. So now I invite you to stand, pause in silence, and acknowledge the divine in each other. For those joining us live stream, I encourage you to envision yourself with all of those you consider a part of your spiritual community. Feel yourself expressing love towards these individuals, beholding the divine presence within each of them. And thank you.
Whenever I have hurt in my heart, I ask what would love do. Whenever I don't know where to turn, I ask what would love do. Whenever I don't know what to say, I ask what would love do. What would love do?
Anytime that I'm stuck in my pain, I ask what would love do. Anytime that I feel ashamed, I ask what would love do. Anytime I can't find my truth, I ask what would love do. What would love do?
Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. When I have something hard I need to say, I ask what would love do. When it seems another block is in my way, I ask what would love do. When it seems I can't face another day, I ask what would love do. You know, what would love do?
In any situation, I ask, what would love do? When I'm feeling limitation, I ask, what would love do? When I have to look into my soul, I ask, what would love do? What would love do?
Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. Ooh, love, all about love, all about love.
So thanks again to our amazing music team. And Sandra had no way of knowing this, but our release is one of my favorite songs. So that was awesome. Yeah, thanks, y'all. And Stephanie thanked our musicians already and thanked our tech team, but I also want to thank Stephanie for her platform assisting job today. She's doing a good job, so thank you, Stephanie. Plus, we like to laugh a little bit, so, if you can't have fun, why do it, But anyway, I'm Reverend Evin Wilkins, and I am so grateful today to be able to meet some new faces that I haven't met before, and if I haven't met you yet, I hope to before you leave today. And anybody who's watching online, we feel your presence as well, so thank you for attending and for everyone spending your Sunday morning with us here this morning at the center. So Stephanie already gave it away that the title of the talk today is To Be or Not to Be. So I guess then the first question for me is, do we have any Shakespeare fans here today? Yeah, I knew we would have a few. I figured, we'd have a few. But even if you aren't a Shakespeare fan, you've likely heard the infamous "to be or not to be" quote from a very young Hamlet. And you probably studied it in school or something at some point. But for those of you who are Shakespeare fans, you're going to enjoy the talk today because it is themed around that infamous quote, "to be or not to be." But today we're going to put a little bit of a spin on it because we're going to do something I like to do, which is called unitize. We're going to unitize it a little bit. And I feel that since I'm basing today's talk on that quote, that I really should share the whole thing, as it's really kind of applicable to today. So the whole saying is, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing in them, to die, sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache in the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. So to me, that is very powerful, is it not? Maybe I feel that way because to me, there's a lot of unity teachings that can be gleaned from that entire piece of poetry. So I want to take some of this today and apply it to a decision that we must make daily. Moment by moment, really. Not just daily, but moment by moment, second by second. What happens when we make the decision to be? And what happens when we make the decision not to be? So I'm an avid reader. And I have several favorite spiritual authors, and Dan Millman, I don't know if anyone in here has ever heard of him or studied him, but he happens to be one of them. And one of his books, I have them all up on my shelf at home, and one of his books will happen to grab my attention sometimes when I'm walking by the shelf, and when it does, I usually pick it up, because I'm like, hey, there's probably something I need to learn today or read about. But one of the most recent Dan Millman books that I've been glancing through is one he's got. It's called Wisdom of the Peaceful Warrior. And he mentions to be or not to be in that book. And he goes into different stories about different times of his life. And he mentions at one point in his life about how he was contemplating suicide. And he says in the book, in this state of psychological paralysis and suffering, I was forced to confront questions about meaning, life, and death. As I stood on this inner precipice, I came face to face with the core of my life, my identity, and my existence. Now, I don't think we must be on the brink of something such as suicide to come to that place of our lives where we approach and stand on that inner precipice, do we? I think it happens at many times throughout our lives. Those times when we may feel maybe a little bit of confliction, confused about something, isolated. Probably a lot of us came from that, over all these 2 years of COVID, some isolation. And perhaps even sometimes asking ourselves, what is this next step in my life? What is the next step that I should be taking or that I need to take or that I'm being called to take? We've all likely heard at one point or the other the question of, and then I know this is something you've all heard of, but what is the meaning of life? That is where that question is really driven home, right? Now, Dan Millman goes on to say, you are a story in the making. And no one can predict what the next chapter, the next day, or the next moment will bring. It'd be nice if we could do that, though, right? Have like a crystal ball and we all could, that'd be nice. But anyway. So maybe we can't always predict, but we can decide, right? We can decide how the next chapter is going to go down, how it's going to be written, how we're going to write it. So does anybody know how we can do this? Anything just right off the top of your head stand out? You can yell it out if you want, but you don't have to. All right. Well, one of the ways I know is by utilizing our principles and our tools here at Unity. And those that we learn even in other spiritual teachings. Because Unity, it's said we take a little bit of best from all and kind of mesh them together here. But one of these is a big one at Unity. And it's a big one because it's our third Unity principle. Now, I always like to use Reverend Ellen Debenport's descriptions of the Unity 5 principles in her book, The 5 Principles. Because to me, she really explains them and lays them out pretty well. But she describes our third principle as being, human beings create our experiences by the activity of our thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. And that's everything. The chairs you're sitting in, someone had to think of it, and then it became manifest. The cars we drive, the shoes we wear, everything. And that includes to be or not to be. So for me, I'm a really visual person. I'm always visualizing something or other in my head. But I visualize this giant whiteboard or a giant chalkboard, depending on whichever one you prefer. And just think about the beginning of the school year, for instance. And those of you who are teachers or were teachers, you probably know what I'm talking about. That board, that chalkboard, that whiteboard, it is fresh at the beginning of every school year, right? It's clean, it's ready to go. It's been cleaned and it's just a blank slate, just waiting to be filled. It's ready to be filled with whatever you decide to fill it with. And those things to fill it begin where? They begin in your head, right? Whatever it is in your head sets everything else into motion until eventually your hand begins to write and begins to bring it out into the manifest physical realm. Now envision life as one big chalkboard or whiteboard or even a canvas, maybe if you're an artist. It's waiting to be filled. That canvas, that chalkboard, that whiteboard, it wants to be filled. That's why it's there, right? So you first bring into your thoughts whatever it is you want to fill that board or that canvas with. It comes into your thoughts. And the beauty of it is that it's a blank slate. And you can fill it with whatever you want to fill it with. Now, occasionally, something may make its way there, something we don't want to see, right? Sometimes we may walk up to our canvas or our board and we're feeling a little irritated. Stuff's happened during the day and we're feeling a little irritated, a little bent out of shape. Maybe feeling angry, a little bit of confusion. Maybe we don't feel like we're loved, or maybe we're just irritated with somebody in our lives. And as a result of those things that I'm feeling at that time, I may look at that canvas or that chalkboard or whiteboard and realize that I've put something on there that goes along with whatever I'm feeling in the moment, whether it was something I perceived as something I wanted to feel or something I didn't. Something that we could erase and replace, replacing it with something a bit more of what we want to see. I know when I was in school, I didn't want to see math up on the board. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but anyway, I digress. Well, my teacher always told me, you'll use algebra in your life. I'm not really sure I have, but anyway. But before I erase those things, I could probably also maybe look at them from a different perspective. Maybe my experiences brought those things forward because it was something that I needed to see. Maybe that crooked line that I drew, maybe that could have had a few more lines added to it, making it not so crooked after all, or allowing me to see the beauty in that crooked line. Maybe that equation, that math equation that I unsuccessfully tried to solve on that whiteboard was unsuccessful because it was only through that unsuccessful attempt that I learned to do it a little bit better the next time. And maybe sometimes it just is, or just was. Maybe sometimes I drew something from what I perceived as a negative experience in my life because I needed to get it out, plain and simple. No more, no less. I needed to get it out. to be or not to be. Only I can create my experiences of what is to be or not to be. Maybe to be or not to be also results in me living my life a little bit differently than what I have before. Lots of times we've practiced the old way, right? We've got that down. We've practiced the old way until we may be blue in the face and we're tired of it. We know that it's time for something new and we want something new. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be studying ways to do things differently, right? Why would we necessarily do that if things are going exactly the way we want them to go all the time? Why step out of our comfort zones? Why study something new or different? Dan Millman says in his book, he says, you don't have to do anything except to stop seeing the world from the viewpoint of your own personal cravings. Loosen up. When you lose your mind, you'll come to your senses. If you're like me, you may be thinking about that quote a little bit and saying, well, that sounds pretty good, but hold on just a minute, Evan. Wait a minute, lose my mind? Maybe that doesn't sound so good after all. Or does it? I'm not sure how many of you have read The Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, but in his books, he talks about a teacher that he had, a spiritual teacher, and it was a spiritual teacher by the name of Socrates. And it's not the famous Socrates that you've likely heard about, but just a guy that appears as a regular guy who uses the name Socrates. So Mr. Millman lets us know in the book that when Socrates told him to lose his mind, he wasn't talking about becoming irrational. He was, as Mr. Millman states, talking about, on the contrary, to pay attention to the reality around me rather than merely thinking about it. So what does that mean? To me, it means a shift in perception. What is it that I'm paying attention to? Where am I focusing my attention? What do I put my mind on each and every day? What do I choose to put my mind on each and every day? Lots of times we walk around with this veil, kind of a veil that covers our faces. And when we do, we view life through that veil, right? We view life as how it appears through that veil. Sometimes we can wear a veil that kind of skews our sight just a little bit. It makes us see things as they may not really be. Maybe you're wearing a red veil and it makes everything appear red. You even look up at the sky and it appears to be red. But that doesn't make the sky red, right? Sometimes we just need to move the veil over to see the sky for the actual color that it really is. So what if we were to agree to lose our mind, that to lose our mind tells us that A, ask us why we must even wear a veil in the first place, and B, maybe that part of our mind that made us feel like we need to wear a veil in the first place, maybe we need to pay attention to that and see what that's telling us. Maybe we need to just remove that veil to just feel the breeze and the sunlight on our skin and to just see things as they really are. A shift in perception. So remember the quote earlier from the spiritual reading I gave. Once you have started seeing the beauty of life, ugliness starts disappearing. If you start looking at life with joy, sadness starts disappearing. You cannot have heaven and hell together. You can only have one. And the most important part to me of that quote is the statement of, it is your choice. And what you choose to see is up to you, right? It's up to you day by day and moment by moment. For we make the decision each and every moment to be or not to be. So I want to ask everyone, if you'll just indulge me for a moment, to just close your eyes for just a moment. And to think about the question, to be or not to be. Think about what it is that you want to be. What is it that immediately comes to mind? How does the thought of being what you want to be make you feel? How does it look? And I invite you to take this with you. And any time the thought of what you don't want to be or don't want enters your mind, I invite you to use this as your anchor. So you may now open your eyes if you haven't, but just remember the question, to be or not to be, because the choice is always yours. Namaste. Now is the time in our service where we practice our gifts of prosperity. And again, I know Stephanie already mentioned it, but I hope that you will plan on staying after for the potluck and for our annual meeting. It's my first one here. I'm kind of excited about it. And, we'll have some chances to kind of find out what you want. And those of you who are online, I know you probably won't be able to attend the annual meeting if you're online, but you will have opportunities yourself to also kind of give me an idea of what it is you're looking for in the center. So just stick around. We'll have some options for you later on. But anyway, I'll stop talking now.
Watch what happens wherever you go. Throw a little love around. You'll see changes fast and slow. Throw a little love around. Happiness will follow you. You'll see happy folks set free. Love will grow in you and me. Joy, fun, and peace abound. Just throw a little love around. Well, hey there you, I'm talking to you. Where do you think you're going? Why, it's love I'm speaking of. And yes, it should be flowing. We've got time to share this rhyme. Start your singing now. Well, you don't know how this should go. Well, let me show you how.
Sing along with us now.
Oh, throw a little love around. Watch what happens wherever you go. Throw a little love around. You'll see changes fast and slow. Throw a little love around. Happiness will follow you. Well, you see happy folks set free. Love will grow in you and me. Joy, fun, and peace abound. Just throw a little love around. It's up to you and it's up to me to set this love in spirit free. Let's take this opportunity to give it all away. The more you give, the more you got. Well, give this loving thing a shot. You won't run out, I kid you not. I swear by what I say. Oh, throw a little love around. Watch what happens wherever you go. Throw a little love around. You'll see changes fast and slow. Throw a little love around. My happiness will follow you. You'll see happy folks set free. Well, love's gonna grow in you and me. Joy, fun, and peace abound. Just throw a little love around. Just throw a little love around. Oh, throw a little love around.
I like that. Throw a little love around. Thank you for that reminder. All right. And Doug, if you want to go ahead and bring that up, we will. And if you are watching from home today and you want to donate, you can go to our website. Yeah, you can donate online at our website at theunitycenter.org. There's a donate button there. It's in the top right side of the screen. You can click on that. And of course, there's still old-fashioned mail. You can send the donation to Unity Center, and that's at P.O. Box 28127, right here in Spokane, Washington at 99228. And if you'll join me now as we bless our gifts. Sorry, Byron, I think I got the slides a little out of order there. Divine love, in, through, and as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And Doug is holding our prayer box. And our prayer box is here each service for you. If there is something in your life, the life of your family, anything that you would like for us to hold in prayer at the center, please feel free to fill out one of these cards and drop it in the box. Our prayer team, myself, we will hold it in prayer for you for 30 days, and it will go on to Silent Unity, which will also hold it in prayer for another 30 days. If anyone here would like personal prayer during the week, you can call and leave your message on the answering machine. I will pray with it there, or just let me know that you would like for me to call you, and I can call you and we can pray together, or even on a Sunday at church. So feel free to use that. We also have Silent Unity. Feel free to use Silent Unity. There is somebody there 24/7 that is waiting to pray with you. So please don't forget that that resource is there as well. Okay, thank you, Doug. All right, and now is the time where our kids enter the sanctuary. So please join me and let's sing in our kids to You Are Walking in the Light.
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Cool. All right.
He's got a mini one up there.
Okay.
You did a really nice big one.
Wow. So y'all had some fun in there today, huh? Maybe we should have been in the kids' room instead of in here. We might have had a good time. All right. Well, thanks, Ginger. Y'all had a good time. Yeah. Thanks for making those cool things and for bringing those in and showing us.
Yeah, you can have them afterwards.
All right. And please join me as we bless our children. Oh, that's all right, Ginger. Children and Youth Ed Department, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. All right. We got some food coming up. Y'all ready? All right, okay. All right, and now please join me as we rise and sing our peace song together.
3, 4, 5, 6. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God
so much for the message today, and you can unitize me anytime. That is just, I love the message, just love it, and I am a huge Dan Millman fan, just huge. And then please stay, eat, have food, mingle, enjoy. Just know you are loved, and you are loved, and I give it back to you.
I think I just piggyback on what Stephanie says. You are loved, and just remember the choice really always is yours. Let me get back so there's no interference. The choice always is yours to be or not to be. Please join me for our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo!
The Raggedy Band is marching along, folks keeping rhythm to the beat of the song. And a little boy's playing on a dime kazoo. Holes in his hands match the holes in his shoes. Leading down the alley with the Raggedy Band, stretching all the way to the promised land. Boom, ticka, 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 boom, ticka, 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 boom, ticka, 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 boom. Boom, ticka, 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 boom, ticka, 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 boom, ticka, 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 boom. A washtub